Hi, this is Mike Pettigrew and welcome to a new episode of Transformation and Empowerment. Now, did you know that how much you earn is often directly related to your own self-worth and how much you actually value yourself? Now, I know it sounds surprising, but it really is true. If we always seem to be struggling just to get by, and if this has been going on for a very long time, then we really need to look at how much do we actually value ourselves and our time and our energy. And a long time ago, I learned the very harsh reality of this through a set of very challenging and frightening experiences. It was back in the early 1990s, and just a few years after I'd started my first real business venture. And we supplied tropical plants to offices, hotels and banks in Ireland. And I managed to grow the business very well, but I was always struggling financially. It was constantly a roller coaster where I would have lots of money and very quickly it would all be gone. So to be honest, I was really disheartened to be in this situation all of the time. So one day I made a very big determination, or rather I made a 100% commitment or vow to the universe. I promised that I would completely transform my financial situation very quickly so that I would be able to free up my own personal time so that I could make a big difference in society by doing various types of voluntary work. Now, it's quite amazing that what happens when you make a commitment to something with your whole being. And within a couple of weeks, I encountered what appeared to be a complete and utter financial disaster. My small business owed its suppliers far more than I had expected, and the amount of money that was actually coming in the next month was a lot less than I had expected. And I was incredibly worried because there simply seemed to be no way out, no way of changing this. And now, I've always hated letting people down and not being able to pay suppliers on time. And this was a really big thing for me. And money was so scarce, I didn't even know how I was going to be able to survive for the next week. But you know what? Sometimes things need to get really tough for us in life before we can actually make a really big change. And it's no coincidence that this actually started happening to me. It was actually a direct and immediate response to the commitment I'd made to transforming my financial situation. And once and for all, the reason why I had made such a big commitment was so that I could free up my time and start doing voluntary work so that I could actually start giving back to society. Anyway, this, as I say, this frightening experience forced me to look at what turned out to be the heart of the matter. And this was my own self-worth. You see, I'd always felt very guilty about asking customers to pay on time. I'd also charged far less than most of my competitors did. So I realized that if my business was to survive, I had to actually double our prices to every single one of our clients. I actually expected to lose more than half of our clients, but even if that happened, it would still be, I'd still be in a far better off situation. Now, amazingly, every single one of my clients agreed to the massive price increase. In fact, many of them told me that they thought our rates were far too low anyway. So the simply wonderful effect was to instantly double our profits. But you know what? Everything boiled down to me not valuing my time, my experience, or my energy. And this is why I charged such ridiculously low prices and why I had such fear and guilt over asking for payment on time. I also had some other experiences around this time that were constantly pointing at my own self-worth. And in fact, I actually had a far too casual attitude towards money. In fact, I felt very guilty about earning money. So what is money? Money is simply an exchange we make for our time and our expertise. If we don't value our time or our expertise, then this affects us in so many different areas of our life. In fact, I had such a bad attitude towards money and the value of my own time that I was buying all these CDs, albums that I never even listened to. Every week I would go out and buy 2 or 3 new CDs. And as I say, I never listened to them. It was crazy. So what happened as a result? I went over to the UK for a weekend to attend a seminar, and when I returned home, my CD player and all my CDs had been stolen. So what did I do? I went out and bought a new CD player and replaced all the CDs that had been stolen. Now, at the time I was living in a rented house and I wasn't insured, so this all came out of my own pocket, or rather the pocket of my business. And then a few weeks later I went over to the UK again, and when I returned home, guess what happened? You've guessed it, all my replacement CDs and the newer CD player had been stolen once again. So this led me to really start questioning, why would such an event happen to me twice? What was the underlying reason for this repeated event? You see, when something happens more than once, there's always a very good reason why it happens. So as well as the other experiences that I was going through, I start to see a very clear pattern emerging. I started to realize how my attitude towards money and how I valued myself really had to change, and had to change very, very quickly. Also, a lot of people used to ask me for favors all the time, but would never return any favors, or very few of them would. In fact, I was being run ragged doing things for people most evenings, without any regard for my own personal needs. And this got to such an extent that one of my neighbours started to notice and told me that I just had to stop helping everyone, and that I should really take better care of myself and my own personal needs. So anyway, it was becoming very clear with all these events that I really needed to start cherishing my own life a lot more. I really needed to value my time and my energy and start saying no to people, unless of course I was fundamentally helping their life in some meaningful way. And you know what, most of the time this was certainly not the case. People were just asking me for favors because they knew I would always say yes. Now, I do realize that this is a very common experience for many people. It's so easy to denigrate ourselves and not truly value our lives and the difference we make in our environment. But you know what? Learning to say no to people, unless of course they really do need our help in some way that makes a real difference to their life, learning to say no can be one of the most wonderful things that we can ever learn in life. And this is because when we start accepting ourselves and then go on to treasuring ourselves, we become empowered. So long as we're not valuing our time and energy, we remain disempowered. And this can have very negative effects, not only on our finances, but in every area of our life. How much we value ourselves and our time and our energy and all the unique qualities that we possess can have a profound effect on our earning potential. Now, I know a lot of people who believe themselves to be very spiritual, and often spiritual people believe that money is evil and that they don't need money and that everything will be fine without any money. But this is really nonsense. Money is a measure of the time and the value or contribution we've made to society. It's very, very difficult to make a really big difference in the world if you're struggling financially all the time. If you spend all your time struggling just to survive, there's very little left of you to make a difference in the world around you. I'm firmly convinced that we live in a world that is rich and abundant, and we deserve to have all our needs met. And when we have all that we need, then we have more time and more energy and more financial resources to contribute to society. How we think and how we feel determines everything that happens to us. If we wish to feel worthless or steeped in guilt or that we're not important, then that's our choice. The result will be a life of lack, a life of struggle, a life of disillusionment and disempowerment. And when we allow such negative thoughts and feelings to dominate and erode our life, then our life remains very small and we're very unhappy. But on the other hand, if we start to treasure our lives, we automatically start treasuring those around us much more too. When we value our time and our energy and our experience, then we can earn more, we can have our needs met, and we can have the time and energy to make a difference in the lives of those around us. I'm firmly convinced that we all come into this world with a mission to become all that we are capable of becoming, so that we can create a difference in our world and in the lives of as many people as possible. And really, from my many years of studying the scientific evidence for life after death, I'm certain we all come to this world to grow in courage, in wisdom, and in compassion, and to help as many fellow human beings as we possibly can. So look, thanks so much for joining me today, and I look forward to speaking with you again very soon. I really do hope you've enjoyed this episode, and before I go, I have a very special offer for you, which I'll explain in a moment. But before I do, I just want to say that if you've enjoyed this episode, then please do give us a like below this video, because when you do this, it enables other people to also benefit from it. Of course, if you'd like to leave a comment, then you're most welcome to do so, and I'll be really happy to hear from you. Now, if you're watching this episode on YouTube, then please do remember to subscribe to my channel. And you can also listen to my Transformation and Empowerment podcast on iTunes. Now, let me tell you about the special bonus I mentioned a moment ago, because if you go to my website right now at mikepettigrew.com, then for a limited time only, you can get free lifetime access to our special members-only area. Membership will give you access to all sorts of inspiring and empowering videos and training materials that you won't find anywhere else on my website. And again, right now, membership is completely free, but I can really only offer this for a limited time. So I strongly recommend that you get your membership right now, and I believe you will find it a very valuable resource and source of inspiration and empowerment. And you can sign up and get immediate access from any page on my website. So again, thank you so much for watching this episode, and I look forward to serving you again soon.